Hey y'all, Dr. Daria here. I just finished an ER shift, as you can probably tell from my hat and my markings on my face from my N95 mask and my goggles. And some of you had asked me some really great questions before I started in the ER today, and I wanted to hop on and answer one of them. One of them was, how has life in the ER changed since COVID? And I think probably the better question is, how has life in the ER not changed since COVID? It has really changed so much. I remember in the beginning when COVID was just something we were learning about, we'd be in the middle of a shift and guidelines would change. The charge nurse would come up with a new guideline they would tape up on tape up signs on how we were triaging people, how we were isolating people. I remember being in the middle of an ER shift when they said, we can't have visitors anymore. Patients can no longer have visitors in with them. I remember being here, that things were just constantly changing. So that's been a big thing. Another thing has been how we interact with patients. I have to go in with every patient with my hat, with my N95, with my goggles, with my gloves, sometimes with a full gown. And it's really having to think of every patient as if every patient, or any colleague for that matter, could be somebody who could be transmitting COVID. That's really different, especially for somebody like me, who I really like to get to know my patients, even if it's for just short periods of time, and get to interact with them. I think another thing is getting to interact with patients' families. I'm used to, again, having patients, I'm seeing them in the ER, maybe wherever I'm seeing in the ER, and they have family with them. Maybe they have a grandchild who can talk, can tell more about their history, or a sibling, or a daughter or something, and you can see so much more about this multifaceted person and their history because you're talking to their family member. Now, family members aren't allowed in the emergency department except in very rare extraneous circumstances. So that's really changed too. I think the worst part is on that, when families aren't allowed in the ER, a lot of times families end up having to go back home, which means that when we have to deliver bad news, we're delivering bad news over the phone sometimes. And I know obviously that has to be awful for the family members. And it's one of the harder things we do. Delivering bad news is always one of the hardest things we do. Delivering bad news over the phone is not something we ever want to do. So yeah, COVID has changed life in the ER, of course, for the medical impact of COVID, but COVID has changed our world in the ER for many ways. Many of those ways are ways that I have hope that they will go away. I have hope for all of us when it comes to COVID. We are here to take care of patients with COVID. And I do look to a future where we won't have to be having all of these regulations and goals. And I don't know exactly when that will be, but I do have hope about that. But yeah, COVID has changed the way we work in the emergency department. And yeah, I look forward to the day that, I don't know if we can let down all of these guidelines, but I look forward to the day that we can loosen some of these restrictions. I look forward to the day that I can connect with my patients again without layers of plastic between me and them, and to be able to talk to my patients' families in person. That's all. So yeah, there are some of the ways that COVID has changed life in the emergency department for me and for my patients and for my families. I'm sure COVID has changed life for you too. So put in the comment section below, how has COVID changed life for you? Because yes, I have hope. I do not believe that all of these restrictions will be forever. And I really look forward to the day that we can loosen some of those. And I don't have a layer of plastic between me and my patients, and I can interact with them more and interact with their families and see them. That's all for tonight, y'all. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna go see my family. I hope you have a good night. Please stay well, please stay safe, and take care of yourself. I'm Dr. Daria, and I'll talk to you soon.